Hey, welcome to Calgary Basement Sessions. I'm Ben Price.
And I'm Ben Montgomery.
And today we're interviewing Cody McManus. Cody is a touring guitar player. He plays with two bands. He went to the University of Lethbridge, did a digital audio arts program. He works at the Grey Eagle Resort as audio engineer. One of the bands he plays with is Bellevue. Bellevue is a Canadian pop-punk band showcasing a unique blend of emotional lyrical content accompanied by a pop guitar melodies and high-impact drums. Compromising of only two permanent members, singer Shane Tasker and guitarist Cody McManus. Their debut EP, Picking Up the Pieces, releases May 11th via Penultimate Records, and the band is currently working on follow-up material to be released in 2020.
Hi, Cody. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, good.
Good, thanks.
Good. Well,
Fantastic.
Hope you had a good day, for sure.
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Yeah, you're our first one, so...
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You are for sure. So you gave us a lot of information. You've done a lot of stuff. We can see. You have your own YouTube channel. You play. Have your own band, Bellevue. You have Storm the Wall Productions as well. So you've got a lot of stuff going on for sure. You're a busy boy.
Yeah. I like keeping busy. I love music. It's my passion, and so I try to do whatever I can within the music industry to keep busy and keep learning and keep growing.
That's fantastic. That's great. And you mentioned before you went to the University of Lethbridge as well, yeah?
Yeah, I did. So I have a degree in music, majoring in digital audio. So that's kind of how I started my journey, at least in a more professional sense, and I've been working through it ever since.
Fantastic. That's really great. So you're in your own band, Bellevue, is that right? Yeah, Bellevue.
Yeah, Bellevue
with Shane Tasker.
Yeah, my boy Shane.
Yeah. So there's just two of you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, just two of us. I mean, it's a little untraditional for a rock band, but man, it's hard to find dedicated people and just people that you jive with, It's so hard to put a band together. So we found just doing it, the two of us, has worked pretty well. We do play live with a bigger band, but we don't have any more permanent members than just the two of us.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
How did you meet? How did you two form this band?
So I'm from Lethbridge, and I was actually playing in a band in Lethbridge, and he's from Calgary. Well, actually, he's from England, but he was living in Calgary at the time. And we were just playing similar styles of like crappy punk rock music, more or less, and we end up meeting each other and realize that like we have similar musical tastes and just kind of see the music industry in a different way. And so just from playing shows back in like 2013, around that time, I moved to Calgary and we were like, let's start our own band. Let's do it right this time. So
nice.
We're definitely not doing it right by any means, but we're definitely on a better path.
For sure, yeah. Well, we see like you're on social media and stuff, your Facebook and Instagram. You know what you're talking about when it comes to social media. With your YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I can see you're doing a good job with Bellevue for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
And I had to listen to your EP as well. One of your songs on YouTube, and it was awesome. Really, really cool stuff, man. Really well recorded as well.
Oh, sick. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah. We actually we recorded that album out in Toronto with Sam Guiana, and he's fantastic, man. It was crazy. We had pretty solid demos. I mean, obviously I produce music myself, and Shane actually does audio recording as well. So we had pretty good demos going into it, but we thought, you know what, let's get another perspective on it. I think that's always so important, especially only the two of us being in the band. We were just so focused on the project and so involved with it. It was nice to get someone else's perspective, and man, he flipped those songs on their heads, and it was awesome. They turned out so well. We're really happy with how that record turned out and can't wait to do some more.
That's fantastic. Yeah, well, you mentioned that you've got new material coming out this year, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, well, hopefully this year. That's the plan, at least. If everything kind of goes how we foresee it going, we should have new music out this year. But nothing set in stone just yet.
That's great.
Are you still working on music during this time together, or are you kind of just everything's on pause? How has this whole situation sort of impacted all that?
Yeah, we're still, I mean, Shane and I haven't been in a room together in over a month, but we're still sending ideas back and forth. Like I said, we both have audio backgrounds, so it's no problem for us to record some stuff and work on it together and like FaceTime and figure everything out. So yeah, the music's written. We're just kind of refining all of our demos and getting everything ready so that when we are able to go back into studio, we're going to be able to basically once all this is over, just go right into studio, record it out, and get these tunes out here because we've already been sitting on them for so long.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So you said you met Shane like playing shows and stuff like that with bands, and one of the bands was I Walk Alone.
Oh, Alone I Walk.
Alone I
yeah.
Walk. Alone I Walk. Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a touring band that you were touring with. Yeah.
Yeah, so same thing with those guys. Back when I was playing in a crappier Lethbridge band, I met those guys coming through on tour, and through Storm the Wall, we booked one of their tours, and their bass player couldn't do it. So I offered to do the tour for them, and I've done every tour with them since. So I'm kind of an unofficial, official touring member of their band, and it's been awesome. I've got to do several Canadian tours with them. This past year, we did 2 US tours, and we did a couple more the year before. So they've kept me really, really busy. And actually, a lot of my growth as a personal musician has been through Alone I Walk, even though I'm not necessarily part of their band. We've just done so much, and we've learned so much together as a group that that's really just helped me grow as a musician in general. So I owe those guys a lot for bringing me on board with everything they've done.
That's great. And it's 2 brothers, isn't it, from Winnipeg?
Yeah, 2 brothers from Winnipeg, Frankie and Pascal Courcelle. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I had to listen to their music as well. Like, really awesome stuff. Like, really fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
Like, I saw that you supported, was it Paris?
Yeah, Paris.
Yeah, that must have been crazy.
That is the coolest show I've ever played.
I bet it was.
It was a massive venue. I think there was like 1,400 or 1,500 tickets sold. We opened the show, so there was probably only half of that there, but still, like 700 people was unbelievable. That's just what you dream of, right? So it was so cool to have that experience. Yeah, to date, that's still the coolest show I've ever played, hands down.
Wow. And where was that? Where was that show?
That was in Winnipeg at the Garrick Theatre.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So a local show then for them. That's nice.
Yeah. It was a local show for them. They sold a ton of tickets, had all their friends and family come out. That's awesome. It was so awesome. And it was so cool too. So we were the first band of 3. I think there was only 3 that night. And we went outside. We took to the streets with some CDs and some merch. And it was actually nuts how many people thought that we were on the tour package doing the whole tour because they'd never heard of us before. And, you get put on that stage where you've dreamed about being, and you give the show all it's got and you put all your heart into it, and people are like, oh wow, these guys are actually doing it. It's their thing. And we'd be like, yeah, like we're based out of Winnipeg. And they're like, oh no way. That is so crazy. We had no clue. So yeah, that was an unreal experience.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I remember the craziest show I played in was in Italy.
Cool.
We were touring around Europe, and we played in this empty airplane hangar. And
Nuts.
And they just put a stage just right in the middle of the hangar, and we'd never played Italy before. No one knew who we were, and there was a 3-band bill. We were the first band on, and there was about 700 people there and stuff, and it was like a family run type thing. As soon as we arrived, like the mother was like, made like pasta and like cakes and stuff like that. And
of course, you're in Italy. She had to make pasta.
It was unbelievable, and like we sold so much merch. It was the best show I've ever played. And
Eat. Okay, play.
Yeah, eating pasta. And
get out
songs.
there.
Oh.
That's awesome, man. That sounds so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you mentioned that this production company that you have that you've started with Shane Tasker, the other member of your band. What made you decide to, or maybe it was Shane that started it and you could sort of joined, or how did that whole thing form?
Yeah, you're totally right. It was Shane who started it, and I did kind of join. Yeah, man, I don't really know. I've always been like just recording bands and always kind of like an entrepreneur in a sense, kind of just more like freelance stuff, right? I'm really like self-motivated that way. And Shane was like, why don't we team up and bring our clientele together and we can work on stuff together. And so, yeah, we kind of just started, I think it started with us booking a tour for a band. And then we ended up like tour managing for a couple summers and booking like cross Canada tours. And then we had audio clients and we've done a few music videos. So it's sort of just a platform for Shane and I to display our abilities other than just being musicians and being in a band.
Sure.
And so there isn't necessarily one thing that we do with it. It's just kind of a platform and a name to have it to have for us, I guess.
So are you constantly working with that company, or is it when something comes up, you'll work on it and that's that? Or is it something you actively pursue on a day-to-day basis?
A little bit of both. I know Shane has some ongoing clients that he works with. They're kind of on like a month-to-month contract. So I think he does like some social media and a little bit of management stuff with a couple artists. As for me, I just have some audio clients. It's not necessarily directly through Storm the Wall, but I mean, all the work that I do, I consider it Storm the Wall work.
Right.
So yeah, I have ongoing audio clients all the time. I always try to keep busy recording bands. I love doing it. It's so much fun to kind of be like the fifth member of a band, as I like to call it, for a little bit and just get my hands in on their music. So that's kind of what that is.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. So you mentioned you do a lot of like audio work, and you work at the Great Eagle Casino.
Yeah. Well,
Not right now.
technically, I'm laid off right now.
Sure,
Yeah, I do live sound. Grey Eagle was where I first started. I left for a little bit touring last summer, but now I'm kind of back, but not totally. Man, yeah, live sound is so sick. I love doing it. I've got to work with so many crazy artists and just build my network even more. We've had bands like, oh man, I don't even know, like Our Lady Peace, Theory of a Dead Man. I did sound for Slash and for The Offspring, just like some crazy big bands. And then I actually got on to doing sound at Stampede for Cowboys tent last summer. So I did monitors there, and I did sound for like Snoop Dogg and Nelly and all the like Lil Nas X and just like mind-blowingly big acts I was working for. I don't know how that ever happened, but
Wow.
that's a cool experience that I got for sure.
So tell me, who's the coolest act that you've worked with, like doing like audio engineering?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't get to meet a lot of them necessarily. I did chat with the guitar player from Our Lady Peace for a little bit, and he is a really nice guy, just super down to earth. He just wanted to hang out and chat, so that was super cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then like doing sound for Slash was pretty nuts. Like
That's crazy.
I was backstage getting catering after, just like getting my meals, and he came up and he got a coffee right beside me, and I was just kind of like, like this Slash man. I don't know. I couldn't talk to him. I was just like, just frozen.
I've heard he's like so badass and such a cool dude.
Yeah, he seemed like it. I don't know. I like I said, I didn't even talk to the guy, but he was beside me, so that was pretty sick.
That's insane. That's nuts. So your YouTube channel, you've got a lot of videos and you've got a lot of views already in the past like 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks you've been doing it.
Yeah, I started at the beginning of March, so we're 1 month deep, and yeah, I just hit 150 subscribers, so we're getting there.
Fantastic. 159 actually, I checked.
Oh wow, sick! Thanks, man. Yeah, you know your facts.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, man. I don't know. March 2nd, I woke up. I was in the shower, and I've been thinking about doing a YouTube channel forever. And I was reading this book, and it said the number one thing that most successful people in the world regret doing is not starting earlier. And so I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna make a YouTube channel today, and I'm just gonna do it. And I've been putting out 3 videos a week, and it's been a lot of work. It's been a ton of work, but I mean, I got a lot of downtime right now, sort of. So I was like, why not just go for it? And yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm fully out of video ideas at the moment, but tomorrow's Friday and I have a video coming out, so I'll film something and it will come out tomorrow. So
For sure, that's fantastic. Well, I really loved your video on how to get into the Spotify playlist for free, and the social media marketing one as well. Like, they were both really fantastic stuff.
Oh, sick. Thanks, man. Yeah. I feel like I've acquired a lot of information over the past few years, especially with Bellevue, and kind of working with the record label. And a lot of it was still pretty DIY. So I spent hours just researching stuff and figuring it all out. And if I could have learned this a few years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago when we first started, I'd be so much further ahead. And so I want to give that back to, there's so many talented musicians out there who just don't know, man. And I think everybody deserves a chance to succeed. And I think the information that I have is helpful, whether or not it's the right strategy or not. It's what I know, and it's what's been working for me. So if I can share that with someone, I'm more than happy to.
Oh yeah. Well, I learned a lot for sure, and I did like music business and stuff at university.
Oh, wow.
I learned so much.
I never learned any of this. This is helpful.
Yeah, totally, man. A lot of it's been trial and error too, and like I said, I don't necessarily know if it's the right way, but it's been working all right for me. So yeah, if I can share it, why not?
Yeah. No, you're very, very like knowledgeable videos, man. Like really good content, and it's professionally shot, and it looks really spot on. So if you haven't checked out Cody's YouTube channel, please check it out. It's just Cody McManus, isn't it? Just Cody McManus.
Yep. Yeah, just my name. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Fantastic. Yeah.
They can find a link somewhere on this little screen too. It'll pop up. I'm sure of that.
Sick.
Yeah, with your Instagram as well and stuff like that. Yeah,
Get that
so
all
people can
sorted.
follow you.
Nice. Tight. Yeah, that'll be good. I feel like I need to do the YouTuber thing where I'm like, what's up, you guys? It's Cody. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Yeah, man.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah. But yeah, man, you're definitely a busy bee for sure. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Not at the moment because everyone's inside for sure. But you're really going hard at your YouTube channel and stuff, and it's really great to see. Like for a young guy like you, you're 24 or something.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, 24. For a young guy like you to have the motivation to do all that is fantastic.
Have you found, I mean, you only have, 14 video or
14 videos,
14 videos out. Have you had any backlash from people because of your age saying, you don't know what you're talking about?
No.
No.
I haven't. And that's actually funny that you mentioned that. I was actually just having a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago about how I've always felt held back by my age. Always like just too young to do stuff. And I've been reading a lot lately, and the more that I read into stuff and like just seeing like young CEOs of companies and young entrepreneurs, and like, man, your age really doesn't matter. It really has no impact in it at all. As long as you know what you're talking about and you're making moves. I don't think, like, you could be 16, right? I don't think your age should discredit or add credit to you in any way. So I haven't found that yet. I'm not scared of that being an issue. I mean, if someone wants to call me out for only being 24, I'll be like, dude, I'm 24 and I'm doing all this, you know? Exactly. So it's how you look at it, right?
Yeah. At least you have the resume to back it up too. That helps.
Exactly.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah. Is there any other content you've been thinking of adding to the channel, or are you strictly sticking to here's how to market yourself, here's how to do all these things in terms of, getting yourself out there?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's been working. I've had some videos do significantly better than others. I want to try to keep it as musician focused as possible. It's something that I hope I can do while I'm on tour. There's a lot of downtime on tour, and I want to be able to keep filming YouTube videos on the road. I just posted a video yesterday when we're filming this, so it's that April 2nd, I think, on a budget home studio. And so that's a little more recording based, but it's still something that a lot of musicians have in their homes or could utilize. And that's actually my best video so far. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to go with it, but I want to try to niche down and figure out exactly what people are interested in from me. So still figuring it out.
For sure. Yeah.
And I've noticed on a lot of channels like yours, they repeat the same content over and over again and just keep updating, or here's something new that I've discovered. So there's so many things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm not fully out of video ideas, but like we're pretty
close.
Yeah, I'm lucky they keep just popping in my head, or someone will send me a message, be like, "Yo, do one on this," and so I've definitely already thought about kind of going back and touching on stuff, but I don't want to just. That's boring, man. That's no good. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm only a month deep into this whole thing. I could decide one day that it's not for me and shut it all down, which I don't think is going to be the case. But we'll see.
Well, you know what you should do, coming from a drummer's standpoint as well. You should do miking up drum techniques and stuff like that. That sort of thing.
Totally.
I mean, there is a lot of videos on that, but there's a lot of garbage as well.
Yeah, man.
So like using your knowledge and techniques and stuff like that, like and like drum tuning, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How to get the right tone. Who was it? Have you heard of Adam Getgood? He plays for.
No, I haven't.
He used to play for Periphery.
Okay.
He's a bass player. He does a course online. And it is fantastic. You should You should check it out, man. He's a top drum engineer, man. He's really, really fantastic.
Nice. That's wicked.
Yeah, he has I noticed that you have a video as well called how to use Easy Drummer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has a program called Get Good Drums,
Oh, sick.
and the samples, the sounds that you get from this program are unbelievable.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about that. Man, like program drums are becoming like so easy to use and just so predominant in like modern day recordings that it's so sick, the software that's out there. I'm so about it.
100%. Like I got Easy Drummer when as soon as it came out, I was like, I'm getting my hands on that, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And then I checked out Get Good Drums. Oh my god! Like the sounds are phenomenal.
Nice.
Really
Yeah, man.
phenomenal. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about them.
Yeah. You don't need a drummer these days.
No.
That's for sure.
You don't need a drummer. Huh?
Get out. Hit the road. Guitar, though. That's where it's
yeah,
at.
it
That's
is.
what you
Yeah.
need.
Guitar and bass.
Do you play any other instruments aside from guitar, or is...
Guitar is my main. I do mess around with some other things, but I'm hardly proficient at anything other than guitar. Yeah.
That's me on any instrument. Hardly proficient.
Yeah, totally. Like I can mess around on a piano. I could probably get through a song, but it's not going to be very good, you know? Like that's just kind of where I'm at.
With your band, do you write the music, or is that do you...
Yeah.
You do. What is your process in that regard?
It varies. It's all
Okay.
over the place.
Yeah.
Normally I'll come up with like when I write a song, I'll come up with a chorus idea, whether it's like a little melody, or I actually find if I sit down and just try to like play a song that I like on guitar, I'll end up playing it wrong and then coming up with something that's my own that I like, and I'm like, oh, this is sick, and then I'll end up just writing to it. So normally it starts with like an acoustic guitar and me singing, and then I'll put that to an electric guitar, and then I'll put some drums to it, and it just kind of slowly grows into a bigger piece. Working with Shane, what we'll do is normally he'll write something on like piano. He's a good piano player, so he'll write something on piano and sing over it and send it to me, and then I'll like kind of develop it instrumentally and then send it back to him, and then he'll work on it vocally a little more and send it back to me. So it's kind of just a back and forth process. But no two songs are the same. I mean, we just we don't necessarily have a process that we follow. We're just a little loosey-goosey, and it's been working for us so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I played in a bunch of bands where, we would just all get together and just jam for hours, and just record it, and then, just take out a chunk out of that 2-hour jam. It's like, that's a cool idea. Let's work on that, So there's lots of different types of processes,
Yeah, and I used to do that, but with it just being Shane and I, Shane sings and I play guitar, so we don't have much of a band to just jam. I mean, we can mess around with our own instruments, but yeah, and especially us being like audio guys and recording guys, I like opening Pro Tools and recording something and layering it that way, because then you have a demo built out at the same time. I don't know, it's just how I work. It's just how we work, and that's what we do.
Have you always used Pro Tools?
Yeah, I started with what was it called, Cool Edit Pro. I was probably like 10 years old. I think Adobe ended up buying it, and it's now Adobe Edition. But yeah, the first program that I bought was Pro Tools. I got it while I was in university. It was the standard. It was what was on all the computers. So I was like, I'm gonna just buy it and learn it. I think that's the biggest thing. It doesn't really matter what you use. They're all kind of the same. You just got to learn it. And like once you learn the ins and outs and become quick and proficient with it, that's kind of when you start to excel with it. So.
Oh yeah, all the shortcuts and stuff. I mean, I'm a Logic guy. Logic Pro.
Oh yeah.
Like I love Logic, and you've used Logic
Yeah.
a bunch as well. I just find it's just super easy to use, very user friendly and stuff. I've used a bit of Pro Tools at university and stuff, but Logic is the way to go for me.
Yeah, I recently just picked up Ableton Live. So when Bellevue plays live, we run a lot of backing tracks, just being a 2-piece band. We normally play with the drummer, and then I play guitar and Shane sings, and that's about it. So we have like tons of guitars going in the background, and bass and tambourine, and we run with a programmed light show too. So yeah, and then my guitar amp, I run a Kemper, and so it's all run through Ableton. The lights are triggered through Ableton. My guitar effects are triggered through Ableton, and then we run the tracks as well. And Ableton's just so stable. It doesn't crash. Pro Tools sucks for crashing. It always goes down. So I was like, I'm going to get Ableton because it's for this, and learn it. and I learned it when I built it, but I've forgot it since. So I'm gonna have to go back and relearn how to do everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Ableton's great. We use it a lot in theater now for running projections and things like that for those reasons.
Cool.
It doesn't crash, and it's user friendly, and it can do a lot of really complex stuff. So it's a great program.
It's so stable.
Yeah.
Ben's done a lot of like stage manager type roles and stuff in theater, so he's used to lights,
Oh, cool.
Light show, that's my thing.
Nice, man. I love lights.
Yeah.
I've been working at the Rec Room in Calgary recently, doing lights there, and
Wicked.
I love it. It's so much fun, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I've used Ableton a bunch at uni. Like we know that like the launch pads and stuff.
Oh yeah,
We did that sort of, with samples and stuff, and like we programmed a light show on like the launch pad. And
Sick.
all that, all that nonsense and stuff. But yeah, Ableton is really, really fantastic. Yeah, you check out Adam Betts. Adam Betts is a drummer from Wales.
Okay.
And he uses Ableton Live and stuff, and he has like a bunch of triggers on his drum kit,
Nice.
and he plays a full maybe an hour set just by himself, just with triggers and stuff, and just like looping lots of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that's a different way to use Ableton. Ableton
Yeah, that's
is
great.
so versatile. It's
Man, you can do so much with it. Like I said, I still don't totally understand it all. It's like you can just literally do whatever you need to do with it. I don't. I'll watch YouTube videos and learn.
Yeah, it's great. There's nothing that can't do yet.
Yeah,
We'll find it one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Just before we go, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your EP and kind of the new stuff you're working on now, just as a little teaser.
Yeah, so we put out a 5-track EP last May through Penultimate Records. It's a pretty straightforward pop punk record. So if you like pop punk, it's probably right up your alley. New stuff. We're gonna have a couple acoustic tunes on there, and then it should be 3 full band tracks. In a little bit different direction, maybe a little more pop flavor to it, Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We still have yet to decide on a producer and who we're going to work with.
Sure.
And we're still kind of developing the tracks and figuring out how everything's going to go. But yeah, it should be similar to the old stuff, but with some new flavor to it. So we'll see how it all shapes up.
Wicked. Last question.
Yeah.
Where does the name of the band come from? Because when I read it, I was like, I have a theory, but I don't know if it's right.
Okay. Let's hear your theory.
Well, there's since you're from Lethbridge.
Yeah,
There's,
I think you got it.
Okay, yeah. There's a really interesting town near Lethbridge called Bellevue where there's a lot of cool history and stuff like that. And I thought maybe.
Yeah, totally. That's 100% where it came from. Deciding on names is so hard. I was in the bath one day and I had a list of like 50 names. And then I thought of like, I want something that like means something to me and is like close to home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, Bellevue, that's cool. And so I looked up what it meant. And in French, it means beautiful view. I was like, that's pretty. And there's actually also a town in Washington in the United States, just outside of Seattle called Bellevue as well. And I actually spent like a week there on vacation once as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's like naming, I'm suck at picking names. And I sent it to Shane and actually what decided it for us was he put it in this font. And it looked so good typed out in this font. And we're like, well, it works. We got a logo for it already. It's
Font's the way to go. If you can find a font that works well with your stuff, you're golden.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if it looks good written out, that's all you need.
Wicked.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with us. We appreciate it. Yeah, and it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, we hope once this is all over, you can actually, come and sit here and play some actual music.
I know, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, man. I would love, Shane and I will come over. We'll play some tunes. We'll do the little basement session thing.
That'd be wicked.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Awesome. Sounds good. Take care.
Bye-bye.